This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow with your boys here. My name is Truck, and I'm joined, as always, by the infamous Shane O'Mac. And today we are talking 2025 draft, the fantasy fallout. I'll tell you right now, Shane, I haven't been more excited to record an episode in quite some time. Maybe it's just that time of year again. Maybe the juices are flowing. I'm not sure, but I am thrilled to be here with you. How are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I love that this weekend that we just had. I mean, it is just awesome to watch. Nights, all day Saturday. It's awesome.
Yeah, the draft, it takes a long time. Like, I saw this one tweet, really made me laugh. I'll probably pop it up on the screen, but it said, this draft's taking too long. If I want to watch 3 picks in 30 minutes, I'll go watch Jordan Love play throw the football. As a Chicago Bears fan, I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, I'm rocking my Cubbies jersey. Go Cubs. They are hot right now in the baseball world. So big shout out to them. But we're not here to talk baseball. We're here to talk the NFL draft. It was something. It was something. A lot to talk about. Let's just start hashing out just in the beginning here. You talk about your Cowboys. I'll talk about my Bears real quick. Just a quick rundown, your immediate reactions of the draft, what you liked, what you didn't like, and you go ahead and kick it off, Shane. How about your Cowboys?
So, I think I come to the conclusion Jeanty was never going to make it, so I took that out of consideration. I was hopeful T-Mac would slide there based off of pre-draft reports about him maybe sliding, so I kind of got my hopes up with T-Mac. Really, then it had come down to Golden for me or Hampton, and I had kind of come around by Thursday of if Hampton is good enough to take in the early 20s. I thought he would be good enough to take at 12. For the Cowboys, I just think he had a different skill set than what they had on hand. But if Booker can establish himself as a Pro Bowl guard, then that's great. It's just tough, really tough to evaluate guards, and you just a lot of times I think you get jaded because you see guards taken later in drafts that develop into really good players. And so it's hard to think about a guard with a top 12 pick. After that, I didn't have too much problems. I liked their picks. I really liked later in the draft, Jadon Blue. I thought he was the perfect type of running back at that point in the draft to get. He is the home run, game-breaking threat that they needed. Javonte Williams doesn't have that capability. Miles Sanders doesn't have that capability. This guy has got legit 4.3 speed, breakaway capability. That's what they needed.
Yeah, I love that landing spot for Jadon Blue. And as a little spoiler, our next episode, we're going to be talking about rookie, dynasty rookie rankings and a mock draft. We just had our draft for our Fantasy Roadshow Dynasty League last night, and I'm picking ahead of you. And did I snipe you when I took Jadon Blue in the 3rd round?
I might have had a couple of profanities go out after that. Yes.
I felt bad the moment I took him, and I was like, oh, shit, Shane's up. And I just took the Cowboys running back. Yes. So, yeah, I felt bad about that, but I hope there's no hard feelings.
Yes.
My team still sucks. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, overall, I think the Cowboys, with where, everything fell out of the draft, I think you guys ended up with a good draft. I was very pleased with that. You still got a running back. As far as the Bears go, I've seen so many mixed reviews about this Bears draft. Obviously on Bears Twitter, with friends and family and coworkers and such that I've talked to about it. It's been a mixed reviews. Right off the bat, nobody liked the Colston Loveland pick in Chicago, and I can't understand why. Of course, I wanted Tyler Warren or Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty didn't fall, but Colston Loveland, the stats aren't as good as Tyler Warren, but the situation is completely different. Michigan had just lost Harbaugh. They don't have a good quarterback. It's a run-first offense. So I think Colston Loveland, if you watch the tape, I think he's the real deal. He's a better route runner. He has elite separation. He's a mismatch waiting to happen. So I love the pick now that I've had to digest it. I think he's going to be a good fit for this Ben Johnson offense. So I'm happy with the Colston Loveland pick. And then Luther Burden, I know you were talking about getting Burden pretty much the whole few months leading up to the draft. The Bears end up getting him at tremendous value, pick 39 in the 2nd round. Early on in the college football season, we were talking about this guy being a top 15 pick, top 10 pick. That's where he was being mocked in that range. So getting him there, man, I couldn't be more happy. I will say these are both luxury picks, right? When you go down to it, when you looked at the Bears' needs, the tight end and wide receiver were not on the top of the list. But at the same time, the draft is very fluid. You got to let the picks come to you. And I'm happy with those two guys in the first 2 rounds. And then we got Ozzie Trapilo, offensive tackle who could play on either side. Shamar Turner, Ruben Hippolyte was an interesting pick where I guess he was the first player drafted outside of the top 300. I guess he got a undrafted free agent grade, and we took him in the 4th round. So that's something. We'll see how he pans out. But and then Za Frazier, the defensive back out of UTSA, right? Is that?
I believe so. Yeah, cornerback.
And one thing I found out about him, he played Matthew Golden last year, and he held Golden to 1 reception on 3 targets for 11 yards. So they'll be playing each other a lot with Chicago and Green Bay, and I found that kind of fun. And then our last pick in the 7th round, Kyle Monungai, running back out of Rutgers. At first, had no idea this guy even existed. Put my hands up. I'm not that big into college football. I do watch a lot of the games, but I don't follow too closely. Found out this guy was a unanimous first-team All Big Ten. He had 0 fumbles on 676 carries, Shane. 676, 0 fumbles. And he had 131 missed tackles forced last year, which was the first in all of NCAA over the last 2 years. So they call this guy the human pinball. He's more quick than he is fast. He had the same college production as Montgomery, so maybe there's a little comparison there with Ben Johnson and saw what he liked. But yeah, dude, this guy is great in pass protection. His film is really good. He looks. He's 5'8", 100 or 215 pounds, so he's not a big guy, but he reminds me a lot of Maurice Jones-Drew type of running back. So I really like him. There are questions with this backfield. They waited until round 7. I feel like they got sniped pretty much all over the board. Obviously with Ashton Jeanty, in the 2nd round, New England took Henderson. Chicago then took Luther Burden, and then they traded back, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, Jacksonville takes Tootin, the Giants take Scatterbo, and Chicago trades back, right? So I think they would have taken either one of them if they were available. And here's the thing: sure, trade up and get your guy, but at the same time, you got to let the draft fall and see how it goes. And this opens up a possibility for them to sign a veteran that's available, like Nick Chubb, or trade for some guy that's available. I saw a lot of people questioning whether or not the Bears could trade for Breece Hall, and that immediately gave me a boner.
Dobbins, maybe he's out there still.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. I don't know where to believe on this because DeAndre Swift, he overall, big picture wise, he didn't play that great last year, right? He had like 3 yards per carry. He had some games where he played really well. Early on in the season, he was scoring a lot of touchdowns. So Roschon Johnson's still there as a change of pace guy. Kyle Monungai comes in. Sure, they could bring in a Nick Chubb, but I'm not sure what to think about this running back room right now. I mean, right off the bat, you got to think, hey, this is a winning, foreshadowing for our winners and losers later on in the episode. But DeAndre Swift is a winner out of this draft, right? They didn't get Ashton Jeanty. They didn't get one of these guys. So as of right now, it looks like DeAndre Swift is in line for a lot of work too,
Yeah, I think speaking of sniping, that Luther Burden pick was a big one for my Cowboys. I really think they would have taken him there. He reminds me. I think he reminds me he's going to be like DJ Moore-esque, where like his strength is run after the catch. And I think,
I saw a lot of DJ Moore and the name is evading me. From San Francisco, just got traded.
Oh, Debo.
Yeah, Debo. Yeah. So I see a lot of the comparisons between him. Very excited about the Bears draft. Yeah. And all you people out there that are saying the Bears had a bad draft, I don't think you know ball, right? And another thing I will say, the draft grades, they're all bullshit. We don't know what's going to happen. We should revisit this in 3 years and see who won and who lost the draft on an NFL basis. But we are here today to talk about the winners and losers fantasy-wise from the draft. So before we get into that, Shane, the talk of the town, everybody's talking about Shedeur Sanders. I found this entire saga of everything that happened just hilarious. I was laughing the entire time. The whole thing, I mean, from the outburst of Mel Kiper on ESPN.
Oh my gosh.
Did you watch? Like, I might put that on this episode. I might not. I don't know. But
this is about, do we want you to play the position for us? That's what this
Why wouldn't they, Lou?
Well, look, that's a whole nother discussion that we've had in many different ways for weeks
I would say
and
that
months now.
This is not one of the toughest quarterbacks you've
But Mel, this isn't this isn't about quarterback traits and quarterback characteristics, personal football character. That's not about this. This is personal.
Has he had an
and we know that it is.
off the field issue? No, he has not.
Mel, you don't have to sell it to me.
No, I don't know what we're talking about here.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. But you know what? But Mel, the draft has spoken.
That's right. That's the key, Mel. It's not putting a value judgment on whether those who passed were right or wrong. They did.
Yep.
So now, whenever you're in circumstances in life, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, whether they're fair or whether they're unfair, you might have to deal with them.
That's
and
right.
now Shedeur Sanders has to deal with
everything.
And for whatever reason, whether he played a minute, microscopic percentage, 0%, or it's a legitimate criticism of the way he conducted himself, this was the result.
Yeah.
Now he has an opportunity to answer it. I think yelling at the NFL about it is not.
There's not a quarterback. Boomer Esiason was not happy when he was a second-round pick.
Tom Brady
was not
wasn't happy.
They dropped. How'd they turn out?
And you know what?
My point
nobody's arguing that can happen.
Reese, the NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Clueless. No idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many
they say we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterbacks? They don't.
That was hilarious.
It was
objectively
so cringy. Oh, and kudos to I'm sorry, Reese Davis.
Yeah.
He really tried to rein him in, and he realized what was going on, and it was the awkward moment of it, and he tried to rein him in. He just couldn't.
Look, Mel Kiper, I don't know what his deal was. Like, maybe, look, this is all Mel Kiper does, right? It's draft analysis. That's all he's known for. And since the beginning of this draft, he says, my number one guy is Shedeur Sanders. And he's planting his flag on Shedeur Sanders. If that guy now falls to the 5th round, it's almost like his opinion or his evaluation means less. It's like he's arguing, he's doing that outburst for the sake of him, his security in his job, which I don't know why he would do that. He has been doing this for 25 years almost, but it was more of a pride thing for me that from him, doing all that and stuff. So, but overall, man, I thought it was funny with Shedeur. The whole thing about his interview and, the reports coming out that it was the worst interview of all time. I saw a lot of people questioning, was he purposely tanking certain interviews with teams he didn't want to be drafted by, or what the outcome of that was. I don't know, but all around very strange. Real quick, the Cleveland Brown quarterback room. What do you make of this room? I sent a screenshot to Coles. They have the gambling market is available on DK. I'm not sure about FanDuel, but they have odds set for who's going to take the first snap for the Cleveland Browns, right? Odds on favorite at -110 is Kenny Pickett. And then plus 200 is Shedeur Sanders. Plus 300 is Joe Flacco. Plus 500 is Gabriel. And then plus 1,500 is Deshaun Watson, which I don't even know why he would be available on that market. He's not even going to be healthy. He's probably not going to be on the field at all this entire season. So what's your immediate reaction with the Cleveland Browns passers?
Here's how I think it's going to shake out. So I think Joe Flacco will take the week 1 snaps.
I do too.
I think his familiarity, the way he performed with Stefanski in the past, he will take the snaps. I think they are not going to cut Dylan Gabriel. They're not going to cut Shedeur Sanders. I think Kenny Pickett will either be cut or traded right at some point at the end of training camp. And then you're going to see probably Shedeur and Gabriel as the number 2. A lot of what I read afterwards also was, they drafted Dylan Gabriel to probably get out of that headache of having to draft Sanders, and the owner kind of interjected of saying, hey, at this point, I want this guy, take him. And he kind of won out on the say. And so now they've got 2 rookies, basically.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty clear that the owner came down and said that, because the video that they posted or the ESPN put out about that from that draft room when that draft pick was announced, that was just.
Yes. So all that being said, like Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. So I think he will become the QB2. Flacco starts the year.
And look, I mean, it's a great landing spot for Shedeur, right? There's a lot of opportunity in Cleveland for him to start. I think we see him on the field this year, maybe sooner rather than later. But week 1, I just think it's crazy. How is Kenny Pickett the odds-on favorite for week 1 snap? That's ridiculous. So that was a fun conversation I had today with Coles. So. All right, let's move on to the meat and potatoes. We're talking winners and losers. I have a long list of winners and losers. It goes, from all the way from quarterbacks, teams, running backs, mostly running backs, because that's where it's clear as day. Wide receivers gets a little murky because there's a lot of targets going around. But running back production and running back snap percentage, you can kind of gauge some winners and losers with the draft. So, Shane, why don't you go ahead and talk about a couple winners that you have on your list, and then I'll interject with a couple that I have.
And so I looked at this. I did a couple different ways. So we go back and forth. I looked at winners that weren't the rookies that are already in the league, and then some of the rookies that were. So like immediately I felt like Chase Brown was a huge winner for the Bengals. Like
absolutely.
There's no, even before the draft, there was no real competition brought in. They've got P. Ryan in there. They didn't draft anybody high in the draft. So you're looking at a guy that just finished the year strong. I think it was like 7 or 8 top 10 finishes at the position. So he's looking like a round 2 pick for me. And then the other veteran running back that I think is going to be like a very high floor value play that was a winner from the weekend, actually. As much as I don't think there's much to him, if you go 0 RB drafting, Javonte Williams is going to be a guy you can plug in there. And in any given week, he's going to have a chance to get you double-digit PPR points because Miles Sanders, I think, is going to be cut. I think Williams be the one kept. Blue will be a complimentary back, but he's going to be more like Tony Pollard was his rookie year, where he's going to get some plays. But, Javonte is going to be the guy probably inside the 10-yard line in the green zone, in the red zone. Where he gets a lot of those opportunities. So like those are the 2 veterans that came to mind. And of course, like you mentioned, Swift, but like, I don't think a lot of people are going to probably talk about Javonte Williams enough as a guy that came out of this draft as a winner.
No, I mean, I didn't even have him on my list, right? Because looking at the situation, I really like Jaden Blue as a prospect. I've talked about him in the beginning of the episode. And, I'll be in on him in fantasy this year. I drafted him in Dynasty just last night. So, I do like where your head's at with that. Javonte Williams is going to be the early down workhorse, and Jaden Blue will come in and clean things up. But yeah, Chase Brown, a couple other ones. Tony Pollard, still in Tennessee. They didn't bring in another running back. Brian Robinson with Washington. He's another winner for me. Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, right? I thought Kansas City was going to bring someone else in. So basically, I wrote down all the teams that didn't draft a running back because those guys are winners, right? These, obviously James Conner has his counterpart already in there with Trey Benson. Joe Mixon is another big winner where, Houston, Joe Mixon's going to have another season like he had last year. That's just kind of in the cards for him. Ashton Jeanty, talk about a landing spot for him on the Raiders. That's massive dub. I mean, this guy's going to be a first-round pick and redraft. And I couldn't be more happy with obviously I could be more happy if he landed in Chicago, but I think the landing spot is great for Jeanty. One sneaky that you'll like winner from this draft is Ferguson, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, who is your wide receiver core right now? I mean, you got, CeeDee Lamb, you got Kayvonte Turpin. Who you got?
Poo platter. It is like awful.
Exactly.
It's Jonathan Mingo. It is Turpin.
Ferguson, I'm thinking Ferguson's going to have a massive season, right?
Yeah.
Granted, Dak stays healthy and everything works out well for you guys. Ferguson's going to be a big part of your success. So I think he's a massive winner. Baker Mayfield, right? You bring in Emeka Egbuka right now, and then transition to a loser. Jalen McMillan, like he had a great end of the year last year, but as a pure prospect and as a talented wide receiver, I think Egbuka might outshine McMillan, right? And there's still a lot of guys. Mike Evans looked like he might play till he's 50 years old, getting 1,000 yards a season, right? So, but mainly even Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young had an upgrade getting T-Mac. Sneaky good play here. Quinn Ewers going to Miami. Who knows what's going on with Tua, but Quinn Ewers, there's a path to him starting on that team. So. Yeah. And then I wrote down Will Howard too in Pittsburgh, right? We don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh. Is Aaron Rodgers going to play quarterback there? If he retires, Will Howard has a chance. I mean, what are they going to roll out there with Mason Rudolph?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that happening. So Will Howard, did you have any others on your list for winners?
No, I just think with the Jeanty, I want people may be like, oh, are you really going to take him in the first round in redraft leagues? Like, I want to remind people, because I had to look this up. I thought this was the case. Amir Abdullah had 3 straight top 15 finishes to end the year last year with
yes, he did.
A crap at quarterback he was playing with. And now you get a much more stable quarterback in Geno Smith. I mean, Jeanty is set for smash. He's going to get 300 touches. I mean, for sure.
Their offensive line still needs work, right? They do not have a good offensive line. However, Jeanty should outshine that offensive line. And yeah, I mean, we see it every year. These rookie running backs. We didn't see it last year, right? Because Jonathan Brooks, everybody painted as the savior for the Panthers later on, and that didn't work out. So Jeanty, I'm banking on him having 1,000+ and probably close to 10 touchdowns. So
then the other one guy real quick, I don't want to forget about, because I think he's probably around right now, maybe around 5 pick for me, is RJ Harvey with Denver. I think Sean Payton made a statement when he was looking at, I have Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime. For him to go out and spend a second round capital on this guy who, when you put on the tape, he looks a lot like Bucky Irving and the way he plays and runs with physicality. I know people are going to point to like, okay, well, Peyton has a history of playing multiple backs. I almost think that he might be shifted away from that philosophy. For him to make a second round investment in this guy kind of says something to me.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great segue too, because a lot of these rookie running backs were winners with their landing spots. You're talking about RJ Harvey, Hampton, right? Going to the Chargers. Yeah. I know they bring in Najee Harris, but something tells me with how good Hampton is, Najee Harris was he was getting outshined by Jaylen Warren a lot of games, right? Jaylen Warren looked like the better running back with Najee on the field. So Hampton could come in, take that job. Najee could be the power back in the goal line. But Caleb Johnson going to Pittsburgh, I think that opens up a lot for him. I love the Judkins, right, going to Cleveland. It's bad news for Jerome Ford. Even Cam Scatterbo, right? Tyrone Tracy, we talked about it in the running back rankings episode for Dynasty. Tyrone Tracy better watch out, because they bring in another running back, it being Cam Scatterbo.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a chance, that workload is divvied up and Scatterbo takes it. And then I have a loser of Kendre Miller. I drafted Kendre Miller last year in Dynasty. I thought he was in line to take over the spot from Alvin Kamara, but with them drafting Devin Neal now, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna see how this shakes out. But Kendre Miller just got his seat he's on the hot seat now as the backup running back for New Orleans. So, any other losers you want to highlight in this draft? Who is a big fat loser?
I don't like from a rookie standpoint, I don't like the landing spot for Matthew Golden. Like this Green Bay, you have 2 things working against him. The obvious thing is it's a very crowded wide receiver room, obviously. Tons of weapons, they spread the ball around. But I think even more than that is like we saw last year, this is a run heavy offense. Like there was only, I think it was 1 or 2 times where Jordan Love had more than 23 pass attempts on the year. So I just don't like that, that setup for him. And then this pains me to say, but I've got him on our Fantasy Roadshow Dynasty team. I don't like what happened in the draft for Christian Kirk with the Texans. I think pre-draft, I love the landing spot for him, but they take 2 pretty decent draft investment rounds with 2 Iowa State receivers that both of them
second and the third round, right?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah. Both of them have had a lot of plays and snaps out of the slot percentage and had success out of the slot, where Kirk, that's where most of all of his fantasy success come from. So that makes me a little bit nervous for Christian Kirk. If one of those guys really starts to, come and look really good during camp and preseason games, I mean, that could be an immediate impact on him.
You never know with rookie wide receivers, right? It reminds me a lot of the Patriots situation last year when they brought in I can't even think of their names right now.
Javon Baker.
And I forgot the other
one.
The
LSU kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, there's the Houston Texans need help in the wide receiver room. Nico Collins is going to get a ton of work this year. I'm going to be high on him in redraft. But I think they're going to need Christian Kirk, right? They're going to need him. He's been a veteran. And he's been playing really good football. I've been watching NBA. I got basketball in my mind right now. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It opens the door for him to kind of get phased out. But overall, I think they're going to need him over there in Houston. So, yeah. Let's see other fantasy losers. Ramondre Stevenson. Them drafting Travion Henderson hurt my heart when they sniped him from the Bears, but. I mean, look, I talked about in the running back ranking episode how much I loved Ramondre Stevenson for this year, and moving forward, I did not think they would go out and get Travion Henderson. Mm-hmm. Ramondre is on a new not a new contract. He got extended not too long ago, so he's going to be there for a while. They love Ramondre there. Now you're bringing in Henderson. It's just going to be muddy waters over there in New England. I'll be interested to see how that shakes out, but Henderson might just be a change of pace back. So bad landing spot for him. Could have been much better. Jalen Wright, another backup running back that I was pretty high on last year. They bring in Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon didn't have a great season last year in college, but the year before that, he was a top guy. I think he had, over 1,700 rushing yards in that season. So Ollie Gordon. And then what about Tyler Warren, right? Talk about the Bears drafting Colston Loveland. Tyler Warren goes to the Colts. I hate the landing spot for him, right? They need to get a better quarterback. Anthony Richardson needs to figure it out quick because I don't know what's going on with, or maybe it's Daniel Jones. We don't know, right? What do you think?
Or it could be, I mean, have you ever seen a quarterback room where all 3 quarterbacks are the same traits? So you've got Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, and then they drafted Riley Leonard. Like they're all 3 the same guy practically.
Yeah, Riley Leonard. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Either way, I mean, Tyler Warren should get a lot of work. He should get a lot of targets. But then again, you got Josh Downs, you got Michael Pittman, you got relatively good wide receivers in that room. So I'll be interested to see how that shakes out. But overall, I'm not too happy about that landing spot for him. Another fantasy loser I put down is Sam Darnold, right? Going to Seattle. He's in his first year with Seattle. They go out and draft Jalen Milroe. Now, if I'm Sam Darnold, I am pissed off, right? He comes in and the plan was Sam Darnold's only 30? He's 36.
Oh no, he's not even that old. No way.
Oh, I'm sorry, 26.
Yeah.
Right, 26.
He's late 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got like 10 years left in the NFL potentially. Yeah. He thinks he's found his new home in Seattle, and his plan is to play football in Seattle for years to come, and they draft Jalen Milroe. The seat is going to be hot for Sam Darnold. If he starts making mistakes week 5, 6, 7, he's throwing 2 picks, 3 picks, 3 picks. That seat is hot because Jalen Milroe is electric. I have no idea how he's going to play in the NFL, but from what I saw in college, them drafting someone like that, I I'd be worried if I was Sam Darnold. Would you not?
I think even more concerning for me was because I don't know how much Milroe will play this year, but that they did not get aggressive and trade up for a receiver in the first round to help replace Metcalf. Like I really thought maybe they would try to, whether if it was from the Ohio State kid or if they traded up in the second to get Luther Burden or something to help out. They drafted a tight end, I know, but they didn't get anybody.
I just feel like this draft in general wasn't very heavy on wide receivers, right? You had Ted McMillan, but then the next two were Matthew Golden and Luther Burden and a few others, but there wasn't any like those big guys like the Drake Londons, those massive bodied receivers. So maybe they just didn't think that they could replace DK. DK Metcalf is a special player, and you need to bring in a special player to replace him. So they got Cooper Kupp and they got Jackson Smith and Jigba. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I agree. I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to play much this year, but Sam Darnold better be careful. That's all I'm saying.
So speaking of losers, could we be looking at DK Metcalf as a loser if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign there and he is relying on Mason Rudolph or Will Howard, or I think Skylar Thompson might have signed there. I don't remember, but you want to talk about,
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? From the draft standpoint, yeah, we don't know how Will Howard's going to play. He won a national championship. He was with a great organization in the Ohio State Buckeyes. He really stepped up his gameplay towards the end of that season to win that championship. That was a gauntlet through the playoffs. So the jury's still out on whether or not he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. However, on paper, yeah, I'd say DK Metcalf is the big loser on this draft. I don't really got much else. I feel like we hit the winners and losers. Did you have any others that you can think of or that you wrote down?
No, I think you touched upon the other ones I had, which was Jalen Warren, Najee Harris. Those are the guys I thought. The only other guy I had on there potentially, I will get your opinion since it's from your team, is maybe be cautious in redraft leagues with Colston Loveland. Like, I just don't know how many targets does he get in that offense when you're talking about the wide receiver room the way it is. And let's not forget Cole Kmet's still on that team. Like, they're not going to go away from targeting him, right? Like,
yeah, I love him in Dynasty, right?
Yeah,
I think Colston Loveland is going to have a great career with Chicago until something happens. But for the most part in redraft, yeah, he's kind of going to be a late round flyer, in my opinion. I haven't done any redraft rankings yet. We're going to knock those out in a couple weeks, and we'll do some mock drafts and see where it goes. But I don't anticipate him being a high pick. You know what I mean? He's going to be in the later rounds. I think he could be a sleeper tight end. There's a chance with what they invested in him with the top 10 pick. Ben Johnson is very creative. I have a feeling we all saw the stat. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't know if you saw it, Shane, but Ben Johnson runs like he's probably top 3 last year in 12 personnel on the field, right? He loves 2 tight ends on the field. So if there's 2 tight ends on the field, you got Colston Loveland on the field quite a bit because it's going to be Colston and Cole Kmet.
Yep.
And a lot of times with a player like Colston Loveland, you're going to put him in the slot. You're going to spread him out, and he's got a lot of mismatches. So with Ben Johnson getting as creative as he wants to get, you can do a lot more with Colston Loveland than you can do with Cole Kmet. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year this year we're looking at Colston Loveland having 30 more receptions than Cole Kmet and 300 yards. I could see him being our number 1 fantasy tight end. Cole Kmet was never really that high profile, right? He never really scored that many points. He got a couple touchdowns here and there, but it's going to be tough with those 3 receivers, a lot of mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm.
Luther Burden is really good in the red zone too. Like he's really good after the catch. So I'm not sure. It's going to be tough statting out those 3 guys on receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I mean, DJ Moore, obviously, I think he's going to be number 1, but Ben Johnson's coming in. He likes DJ Moore, but he's not his guy. You know what I mean? So we could see the tides turning in the Chicago wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Well, that's another conversation for another day. But to answer your question, I don't think Colson Loveland is going to be a very high pick, so I'm fine investing in him in the later rounds.
Yep.
Other than that, that's it. Our winners and losers. Our next episode we're going to put out in a couple days, hopefully. We're going to go through our rookie rankings for this draft and for Dynasty, and we're going to talk about we might do a mock. We might highlight the mock we did or the draft we did last night for our Dynasty League for the Fantasy Roadshow and kind of talk through the picks. The thing with Dynasty rookie rankings, it's really based on team needs, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of times we're going to go into it with the idea that we don't have any team needs. Our teams are phenomenal and we're drafting best available, and that's how our rankings will go. So stay tuned for that. Shane, other than that, what do you got going on this week? What are you doing? What's happening in the Shane O'Mac world?
Not much. It's just same old. I don't remember if we talked about it last time. We talked about the car shopping experience.
Yeah,
we got that process is done and complete. So Jax O'Mac is out driving amongst the world. So
you got a car. What car?
Yeah,
what'd you land on?
We got him a 2016 Mazda 3. So nice 9-10-year-old car that he's all excited about, that he's already looked up all the mods that he can do to it as far as spoiler, lowering it, side guards, all that stuff. So
yeah, is he going to put some subwoofers in there?
He's got everything in place. So as soon as he gets his summer job, he'll start modding it out. So
good for him. Well, I'm happy about that. I'm in the process of moving. I will be moving to a new place next month, May 15th. I have 4 days I scheduled out. I don't have to be out until the 19th. I can start moving in the 15th, so it's going to be a slow move. Just first time doing it. I usually move in 1 day, and it's very hectic. I hate it. I'm going to try the slow move this time. So getting ready for that. Other than that, man, great time in sports right now. These NBA finals have been phenomenal. I don't know if you've been following, but the games have been chippy. Last minute plays, last minute fouls, fights on the field or fights on the court. It's been a very great time in sports. Baseball's fun to watch. I am fully invested back in the Cubs. I've been a lifelong Cubs fan, but fell out after the 2016 championship. It's been a couple down years, but they're really good, and I love sports. I just love sports. So it's been fun. Shane, I can't wait to talk rookies with you on the next episode. Everybody be on the lookout for that. But other than that, we're going to sign out. Everybody, buckle up.